probably a good thing ultimately. I'm not sure why. How about now? Can you see? Okay, you
Oh
can
yeah,
see.
that's better.
Okay, you can see my full face now. But now you're like only filling out vertically the
You
space.
want me to go back horizontally?
Yeah. Go back horizontally, man. Come on. There we go. We need the full dude. We're talking to the 247 Fighting Championships pro featherweight champion. We need the full face.
What's that? I missed what you said.
Oh damn! It was such a good lead in too, man. That sucks. I said we're talking to the 247 pro featherweight champion. Like, how good does that sound?
Oh, it sounds amazing to me.
Dude, we know
Best
like
sounding thing I've ever heard.
yeah, it truly is. We know how much that meant to you, man. That fight meant a whole lot. Your whole career. Like, what did the days after that fight? What were they like for you? Did you just kind of think about it all the time? Did you sleep with the belt? Like, what was the celebration?
More relaxing than anything. Like, just felt like it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off your shoulders. You know what I mean?
Nice. Was it? I know, like I talked to Cody Garbrandt back in the day, and he was always like, his whole life he wanted the belt, always wanted to be a UFC champion, and then when it happened, it like didn't change his life maybe in the ways that he thought it would, or wasn't what he thought it would be. What was it like that for you, where it was this grind and grind, and now it's just kind of you're the same old Ethan Goss right back to work?
I mean, pretty in that sense, pretty much. You know, nothing was going to change. Like somebody asked me something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I didn't get any more girlfriends, and my Peter didn't get any bigger from it, so I don't know."
That's a shame, man. I thought you at least got a couple inches extension after you won the belt. I've been lied to.
I thought that was coming too, but I don't know. The older I'm getting, the more it's shriveling.
Sorry, Kaylee. But that's a good lead in, man, because obviously we got this May 14th show coming up in Johnstown, looking to be a banger of a card. And it's hard to imagine a Johnstown fight card without Ethan Goss, but you're missing it for a very good reason. So go ahead and let the good people know why you won't be fighting May 14th.
Yeah, I would love to be on the card. I wish I was, but I'm getting married to my wife to be, Kaylee, the weekend after the show. So the coaches and stuff was like, "No, we don't want you on that card. You know, you're gonna be scatterbrained and pulled 50 million directions. Like, we want you focused." So I'll be there still. I'll be in the corner for Sheldon and Dan, but I won't be fighting, unfortunately.
That's awesome. I mean, we would obviously love to have you, but as far as reasons to miss it, kind of hard to argue that one. We wouldn't want you, like with a black eye in your wedding photos or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love like the Gorilla House fights that we have lined up for May 14th. I don't know this podcast, it's not live right now, but it'll come out tomorrow and or today if you guys are listening, obviously Friday. And you just kind of dropped a bombshell on them there. They know about the Dan Albright fight, but you just shared another teammate that's fighting. And let's navigate it this way, because I don't know if the announcement will be made. So don't talk about the opponent, but let's talk about Sheldon. Obviously, you already said it. We can announce that Sheldon Nyos going to be fighting. It's going to be an interesting fight for him, right? Like a little out of the normal. And actually, you were the head matchmaker on this one. So how did it feel to play matchmaker?
You know what, man? There's like, and Ryan's asked me before, like, "Hey, man, when you're done, like, would you be interested in matching?" And like, I wouldn't want to be a full blown matchmaker, but like, all I do is I see two guys that I think would make a great fight. You know what I mean? And when I say great fight, like, I'm thinking, you know, fan friendly fight, like something that's going to be great for the fans. So I pitched that idea, and that's what I seen for Sheldon. You know, I seen you guys post on the Are You Looking for a Fight page, and I seen two of the guys on there, and one, obviously I knew one was my guy Sheldon, and another guy, and I was like, you know what? Like, I think that would be a good fight. Like, that would be a good fight to watch. Be a good matchup. I think it's winnable for Sheldon. I think it's a great fight. So I text Ray and Darren and said, "Hey, like, what do you think about this matchup?" And they were like, "Yeah, I think it would work. Like, let's check with Sheldon." And I think I texted you and was like, hey, man, I'm on the hook with something. Like, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And,
That's
a couple hours later, bam, we got a fight.
You texted me that, and not 10 minutes later, the other fighter who you guys will know soon enough, who Sheldon's fighting, texted me as well and is like, hey, who's the 205er on that list that you're looking for? Because I tell him to start eating and come fight me. So it's awesome, man. Like, that came together. It's funny how like a fresh set of eyes can help, because obviously we've been matching this card for a while now, getting fights put together. Like, it never crossed our mind to even propose that fight. And then once it was out there, it was like, holy crap, like, this is an awesome fight. I cannot wait for that fight, man. It's such a good matchup. So I appreciate you throwing it out there and kind of getting the wheels in motion, because I think, like you said, we went from needing fights for these guys to now having, I think, probably the most exciting fight on the card. Like, that's going to be a banger.
Yeah, like I think it's going to be an awesome fight for the fans. I think everybody's going to love seeing the show. I think that fight has the potential of being, you know what I mean, fight of the night on the whole card. So it's a great matchup, exciting fight. Like I said, it just light bulb went off in my head when I seen it. So I was like, hey. So.
And they say that fighting hurts your brain. Look at that. That brain is working just fine.
You can't be getting hit hard, though. That's the key to it. You can't be getting hit hard.
Dude, to that point, perfect transition, because I know we talked about you being the champ and everything, but I haven't really talked to you about the fight itself. And all I'm going to say is, whenever that fight was over, Kevin Barberina's cornermen were coming out of the cage, and like literally at the end of the fight, coming out of the cage, and didn't really say it to me, but said it in my direction. They were like, that's the best that guy ever looked. Like, watching your tape, watching everything, they were like, who did we just fight? Like, that's not the guy that we were watching tape on, dude. You genuinely hit a different level in that fight. We've never seen, you've always, obviously, we respect your skills immensely. We know you're an amazing fighter, but it was on a different level that day. Like, were you feeling different? Like what happened there?
Not really. I mean, it was a little while back, you know, I more like, so what I've been telling everybody is, like, the last piece of the puzzle for me was the mental click, you know what I mean? And that's just all it was, you know, going in, you know, I had to win over Gaffney. I had that win over Sudo, and I knew what kind of caliber fighter Sudo was, you know what I mean? Where I was a big underdog in that fight too. And so going in, like, I knew how good I was, you know what I mean? And like I said I think I said to Kavanaugh, or I said to somebody, you know, the difference this time for me was, you know, I'm not just a contender. I already know I'm a champion. Nice. So, and that mental click for me was mainly the main part. I was on par, you know, as far as conditioning. I was on par as far as the whole training camp. You know what I mean? I basically did 2 training camps back to back with very little, like maybe a 2-week break in between it. When I say 2-week break, I'm still in the gym. I'm still training, but it just wasn't like a hardcore, like, we're in camp training. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to burn myself out, because that can happen. You know, if you take a fight, you know, 8-10 weeks notice, you know, if you go too hard early, you're going to burn yourself out. Because everybody signs, you know, they sign a contract, they get all excited, they're ready to go, they're ready to fight. But, you know, I kind of eased back into it, and we got rolling full steam, you know, about 6 weeks out. And, you know, everything was clicking. You know, everything in the gym was clicking. My technique, everything was just moving perfectly. And at the fight itself, like I told Ryan, like, you know, this is just another day to me anymore, because I'm literally doing what I do every single day. There's just more people watching now. Mm-hmm. And I went to we were in the back, and like, I don't do the whole, you know, slap myself in the face, hype myself up, you know what I mean, yell, scream. That ain't me. That ain't my demeanor. Some guys that works for it, but it doesn't, for me, it's forced if I'm doing it. So I just chill, you know what I mean? I'm in the back, I chill. We don't even talk about the fight. We don't talk about doing anything, you know what I mean? We just hang out, we pick on each other, we laugh, we joke. Then it comes time to get wrapped. You get wrapped, then you start getting into the zone. As your hands are getting wrapped, you start, you know, zoning in a little bit. And you put your gloves on and you do your first warm-up. And we do a hard warm-up. And I probably did 15, 20 minutes straight of a hard warm up. And by the time it was done, I wasn't even breathing heavy. Like I was fresh as could be after that hard 20-minute warm up. And it was just, the cherry on the top at that point. It was like, yeah, this is just it. This is my night. There's no denying it.
It was like from the opening bell, it was clear, man. The way you just took control, the center of the cage, the way you were controlling the striking, the grappling, everything that was happening, it just seemed like it was happening on your terms, The one thing that stood out to me from the jump were those the body kicks, man. I hadn't really seen that from you. Did you identify something in his game ahead of time that you thought he would be susceptible to the body? But there was like it seemed conscious decision by you to attack his body.
Not in a build-up, because there really wasn't much footage of him striking. He mainly come out and engaged into a clinch, rushed into a clinch. Him or the other guy he was fighting, they were ending up in a clinch, and it was more of a grappling match. I knew he had good clinch, and I knew he had good takedowns out of the clinch. But as I got in there, I mean, every fight you're in, there's in-ring adjustments. That's just how it is. Every single fight, there's in-ring adjustments. So I necessarily didn't go in, planning to fight the way that I fought. I didn't go in thinking like, okay, I'm going to take this guy down and, beat him up on the ground. Like that was not part of my plan. It was just the opportunity that presented itself to me during the fight. As far as the body kicks go, as soon as we started moving, I seen he was carrying his elbow high. You know what I mean? And it was just something I picked up. I'm like, all right, he's holding his elbow high, which is leaving that body open. And if you notice, like I opened with a high kick, and the high kick landed, like it landed good. He got his hand up for the block, but everything, he still took the brunt of the shot. And therefore it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to start targeting the body off of it. He did really good. So like every time I come forward, he backed out. I mean, as good as those body kicks were, they could have been better because he was backing out so far. So all of them were landing on my foot instead of the shin where I would have wanted it to. Even the leg kicks, he was backing out so hard. I was still landing. They were still getting good crack, good pop, but they weren't full potential like they could have been. So
yes. Yeah, there were quite a few that I was thinking, would put him down, honestly, like the kind of liver shot that you see put a guy down. And to his credit, man, he was eating them and he was still there for the whole 15 minutes. He was firing back and in the fight for sure. I mean, we knew he was a tough guy for sure going in.
Yeah, he's super tough.
Yeah, nothing but respect, man. Did you get a chance? I wanted to follow up with you. Did you get a chance to get beers with him or his team? Because his cornermen were freaking hilarious, man. They were amazing to work with. Did you get a chance to hang out with them?
Yeah. So that literally I went to the back, you know what I mean? And the first thing I did was put my stuff down. I got in the cooler. I grabbed a beer and I immediately took it over to him. It was, I said I'd drink a beer with him. I was going to drink a beer with him. So I immediately took him a beer and, and we kind of had a brief chat there and, I went about my way and he went about his. But, we talked about the fight, briefly there for a second. I was like, man, I don't know. Like, you're tough. Like, tough. Because I know, not only did that one body shot land flush that hurt him, he rushed in after it and I timed a knee, literally same shot to the body. You know what I mean? And that was when that was probably the most he was hurt because you could see he was going in and I clipped him with a knee to the face. And then that was when he fell backwards in the first round. As far as like the rest of the round went, when he got back to his feet and we separated, I thought that I might have grazed his eye when I pushed off of him. And he said he got poked in the eye, so they stopped the fight. And I could just instantly tell by his body language, like, he's like, oh, fuck. Like, this sucks. Like, this ain't where I wanted to be, I guess, real early. But he wouldn't go away. You know what I mean? He was too tough, to be able to crumble to that mentality. And that says a lot about a guy like him. He started out, had a rough first 2 minutes. You know what I mean? He was pretty banged up. He was welded up. His eye was swelled shut. But he would not go away. Like, he was still trying to implement his game plan. And the more he kept like trying to get me to the fence, the more it was like, okay, well, I'm not staying on the fence. So I turned them, and then the foot sweep worked real easy in the second round, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go right back to I know what's working. I'm gonna go back to what's working. And I wish I would have turned up the pace, especially in that third round, because I was fresh as fresh could be, in that third round. And, he was breathing pretty heavy after the first. And, I wish I would have turned up the pace and tried to put a higher pace on him, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm going to be my worst critic. I'm going to sit there and, pick myself apart no matter how good I might do or how good I might look.
Right. As we would expect. We expect nothing else from a pro such as yourself, man. It was, like we said, it was a different level of Ethan Goss. The conditioning was one thing, but just everything, man. Anybody who can go back and watch that fight will see exactly what we're talking about. It was a super complete performance. And then you even capped it off with a perfect in-ring call-out. So I want to talk about that because I want to put it on the record. Like, dude, I invited Cody Law I like Cody Law a lot. Like, a lot. We've hung out, had whiskey. Like, I love this guy. I love where his career is going. I just like him as a person. So I invited him to the fights because I knew he was still in town before going back to Florida. So, like, I invited him to the fights. We got him the seats there, and then you called him out. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, he probably thinks I invited him just so Ethan could call him out. Now I'm like, dude, Cody Law is going to kick me in the head the next time I see him now. But, dude, it was a perfect call out because it was respectful. You were, nothing against your skills. Like, I know you're talented, but this is the fight I want. Like, what about that fight is so intriguing to you? Because I know this one's been on your radar for a while.
Yeah, so I have nothing against Cody. You know what I mean? Nothing personal, nothing at all. I think the kid's talented. I think he's athletic. But I think he's been gifted. When I say gifted, I mean he's been gifted a lot of easy fights. And to be gifted those easy fights and then get a rank like he did in the Bellator top 10, like, come on, man. You know what I mean? I know the guys you fought. Like, you fought your debut was against a flyweight. Your next two fights were against bantamweights. And your last fight was against James Adcock, so don't get me started on him. You know what I mean? And you're going to give him I think he's number 9 rank now. And then when you got guys like Nick Brown, who's destroying good people in Bellator, and he's not ranked in the top 10, he holds a 17-second knockout win over the number 1 guy at 155. Like, my point is, Cody hasn't swam with sharks yet. And from my first fight in, you know what I mean, as an amateur, I've been swimming with sharks.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said, the big difference is, Cody bought in. He's more or less bought in. He went the business route and all that stuff. And nothing wrong with that. More power to him. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's making money. You know what I mean? I'm glad he's doing his thing. Like, I don't get my rocks off to him failing or anyone failing by any means. But I was forged in the fire. There's a difference there. And give him someone to fight. Give him somebody that's going to test him. And who better than me? Because that is going to be one hell of a tough fight, not just for him, but for me as well. Mm-hmm. Cody's fast. He's talented. He's athletic. But let's have that fight. Let's see who's the best.
Man, I love that fight. And for me, it feels like, mom and dad are fighting or something. Like, I don't want either of you guys to lose. Obviously, I love both you guys and want the best for your careers, but you're exactly right. In purely as a matchup, it's such a good matchup, man. It really is. And it's crazy that both of you are where you are in your careers right now. Like, it honestly makes sense too. It not only is a good matchup, but like, it literally makes sense. Like you said, he needs that kind of big test to get to the next level. Yeah, like you are that test.
So here's the thing. I mean, if you're going to put him in the top 10, you can't spoon feed him no more. That's it. Like, now you got to start giving him something. And if they don't want to get, I mean, them top 10 guys in Bellator are killers, like killers. Like, and they all, like, Cody has 6 fights. The rest of them have, 13 or more. So what are you going to do? Are you going to give them, a tougher guy that's not ranked? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That looks somewhat beatable. To me, that would be the route to go if I was Bellator and I'm still trying to build them.
Yeah.
Give him a guy that's, a guy like myself, a guy with a winning record, a guy that's tough, a guy that fought, tough guys, and his losses are tough guys. So why not? You know what I mean? Why not give it a try? So
Yeah, I think Bellator should release him from his contract for one fight and let us do a 247 title fight with you two. That's that's what I think. But yeah, dude, it is. I mean, it's an awesome matchup and it's an interesting dynamic. And I love, like you said, the respect that you're paying him. And I'm sure he feels the same way because I texted him, about that after the fights and he loved it. Like he loved everything about it. He recognizes how skilled you are and was excited to be there and everything. So it's cool, man, to see the mutual respect where it doesn't have to be like you guys hate each other and you're fighting
no,
for,
yeah,
whatever. It's not like that with you guys, which is awesome.
yeah, no, I mean it's literally there's like I said, there's no ill will, no hard feelings whatsoever. I don't know Cody really on that personal of a level, like I said. So how could I dislike a guy that I don't know? But I think I could beat him, and I'm sure he thinks he could beat me. And
Mhm.
that's what makes fights interesting. Two guys that think they can beat each other, right?
Exactly. It is interesting with him being kind of a Johnstown boy and everything that you guys didn't cross paths. Like it's surprising to
Um,
me that you guys don't know each other better.
so, well, I mean, he was in wrestling. I mean, he wrestled and all that stuff. Like he was like I was a professional while he was still in college wrestling.
Yeah,
Like
that's true. You
I
started
mean,
super early,
I've
yeah.
been in the game 10 years now, and I had to work my way from scratch to get to where I'm at. And he had a little bit more of a paved road than I had. He was able to have he had 5 amateur fights. He didn't really, and like I said, I'm not talking shit. I'm stating facts. Um, as an amateur, he didn't beat anybody that even had a winning record. And then he went down and got hooked up with American Top Team. They got him signed. His management team or whoever it was got him signed with Bellator before he ever even had a pro fight. Okay, great. You know what I mean? Now he's 6 fights in, but they haven't tested him yet. Like not even close to have tested him yet. I think one kid he fought has been okay since fighting Cody. The rest of them have been pretty pretty awful. Um, but like I said, I'm not talking shit. I'm stating facts. So why not give him a tough guy now?
Yeah. Dude, it's an awesome fight. I guess it kind of, the question's right there for your future. We obviously want you to defend the title and we would love to have another fight for you. But what we love even more than that, Ryan and I have said this in the past with Kama, with John DeJesus, with the guys who win our pro titles, they get signed to Bellator, the UFC, or PFL, wherever it might be. Like that, we would love to see you take that step as well. Like, where's your head right now? You obviously got a wedding coming up that's dominating your headspace, I'm sure. But in terms of your career, what do you want for your next step?
Um, we talked with the management team Tuesday, and we talked about what the reality is of getting signed, or you know what I mean, and all that stuff. So as of right now, like I told the management team, I'm not doing anything until after June because I have a wedding late in June. Then I'm also in for one of my good friends. So it's like I got too much outside stuff tying me up, tying like my you know mentality up and stuff to try to be able to train through it. But after that, it's game on. So if it doesn't look like anything's going to pop up or get signed, or you know what I mean, I ain't going to get a Bellator call or anything like that, then I'm going to defend the crown.
Nice.
I'm going to come back to 247, and I'm going to defend the crown, and I'll keep defending the crown until I get signed. You know what I mean? I think 2 more wins, because I'm on a 3-fight win streak now. I think 2 more wins. And this is what the management team said that we spoke with. Like there's a very, very good possibility then that I get picked up next year. If I get
Yeah.
pump out 2 more wins this year. So that'll be like I said, if nothing happens soon, like in the near future, like I'm not going to sit there and wait for it. I'm going to keep doing what I do, and just put my nose down and grind.
Nice.
And, I'll defend the crown.
Nice, man. And I mean, anybody who watches that fight, like again, just go back and watch Ethan's fight against Kevin Barberina. Like, you can't watch that fight and not see a UFC Bellator level fighter like that. Everything you displayed there, and that's Ryan and I were talking about it right after the fight. We were like, dude, that was that was Ethan at the highest level. Like, we saw it
Oh,
right there. Like, that was a high level mixed martial artist right there. So if you rattle off 2 more wins on top of what you've already got going, you're right. Like, I would almost feel bad putting you in another 247 title fight at that point. Like, dude, you don't need to fight for us anymore at that point. Like, that's pretty undeniable, I think.
yeah, there's a lot of politics behind it, like Instagram followers and all that stuff. That's one of the things I'm not the greatest at, is I'm a pretty busy guy, so I'm not really on. And then, like, I've been posting more since the fight, like, because I know that, like, okay, like, I gotta pick that up. So if anybody, if you're watching this and you don't follow me, on Facebook, Ethan Goss, on Instagram, it's Ethan Goss 9. You know what I mean? Give my Instagram a follow and stuff. You see some good stuff. You see raccoons, you see dogs, you see me doing excavating work, and you see some fight stuff. So
that's awesome. Here, I'll share the screen for the good people at home.
there
Here you go. Ethan Goss 9. Look at this. The title. Here we go. Good little family, Gorilla House family shot with the belt. Look at all those killers, man. You guys have truly built, it's kind of incredible to talk about the team that you guys have built there and what you've done in Altoona.
Yeah, I'm sitting here at the table in shin guards and stuff in my gear right now, and as we're here talking, they're up there working.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, you guys never stop, and definitely the whole crew you got out there is a testament to all that hard work, because just, looking at that picture, 6, 7 people in that picture that have really promising careers happening right now. And obviously you just won the belt. Cam held the belt, and we obviously think the world of Cam and Sid and Sheldon, and Caden's coming up. Dan's got the fight coming up. Like, the crew is filthy right now, man.
Yeah, dude, we're so we're basically building something here in Altoona that hasn't been here in years. Back in the day when MMA first got big and there was more shows happening, they had some guys and they had some fighters that were decent fighters, but like it died off where I was the only one left for a while. Like when I got started, it was kind of the tail end of that first era, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those guys are older now and retired or faded away or stopped training and all that stuff. It was just me for a while. And when I say wow, I mean years. Like, it was just me for years, and kind of ran like a bootleg, program with just one guy, and having a hobbyist as a training partner. And now we're building. Now we got a team. Now we're building. Now we got good guys. We got guys winning fights. So it's awesome to see. It really is.
And good from the whole spectrum, beginning amateurs like Caden has one fight, and obviously I'm sure he's going to want to fight again soon once he heals up and once he's done with college wrestling and everything. He'll have a promising career, all the way up to a guy like you, a pro title holder. You guys got the full spectrum of talent, bodies there, big, little. Sid is a killer in the female division. She's going to do amazing things when she turns pro eventually. I mean, it truly is, like you said, you guys have built something really special there in Altoona, man. I'm sure you're very proud of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, it's great to see it grow. It's great to see it come back. And even when I'm done, like, I'm in too deep to not be a part of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm part of what they call like the 10-year club now. I've been doing this for 10 years. So I'm in too deep. So that, like, in the next few years, however long it might be, 5 years, whatever it is, whenever I decide to finally retire, it'll be my turn to give back,
Mm-hmm.
To what everybody gave to me. And that's one of the things I'm big on is, helping other people out and giving back, giving somebody else the same opportunity that was given to me.
That's what it's all about. And I think that character, that says a lot about who you are as a fighter as well. Not to, dive too deep into it or look too philosophically at it, man, but I think your fighting career really shows that too. It's very unselfish. Like you were saying, the Cody Law dynamic and you constantly facing killers. You maybe to a fault took fights that you shouldn't have early in your career.
I guarantee you I shouldn't have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
little too unselfish all the way through. But I think, again, that's kind of helped mold you to where you are now, where if somebody just looks at your Tapology and sees your record, they might be like, whatever. But if they actually watch your last 3 fights, going to tell a totally different story, man. Like, you're clearly better than your record indicates. And I genuinely hope you get, this shine from one of these bigger promotions does come knocking for you sooner than later.
I truly believe that it's going to happen. You know, like I've told my coaches, I've told everyone around me, I feel like a world-class athlete, mentally, physically, emotionally, and that's who I should be competing against, those other world-class athletes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's, to me, it's inevitable. It's going to happen at some point. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and keep doing what got me to where I'm at now, and you know, it's going to happen, and it's eventually going to, you know, take off.
Yeah.
So,
well, the mentality is totally dialed in, just as it was before your last fight. So you got a wedding, your own wedding, then you got a friend's wedding, and then we'll see where the Ethan Goss career goes from there, man. But wherever it is, you know, we're going to be excited if it's for us, obviously, extra excited if it's for Bellator, UFC, PFL, wherever it goes, man. We're here, and we always appreciate the time, dude. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I'm sure you got to go kick Cam Allgaier or something in the shins or something.
Yeah, he's up there. I'm going to kick him in the head.
Yeah, go ahead. Let him know that's from us. But yeah, dude, I appreciate the time as always. I'm sure we'll be catching up very soon. And your matchmaking check is in the mail, Ryan said.
All right, great. He's still got to suck these nuts, so that was the only stipulation.
I do think that was in the contract, actually. He didn't read the fine print, so I mean, that's on you, Ryan.
Yep, I'm going to be teabagging him as soon as I see him.
That's beautiful. Well, fair warning, Ryan. Don't say you weren't warned whenever it happens. All right, brother.
All right, man. Thank you. It's always an honor.
Yeah, same to you, my man. Go enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, you too, buddy. We'll see you.
Yep, later, dude.
Bye.